Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I am AttiDude back in another video, and in today's video we're gonna be learning about structs in C#. If you haven't watched our previous video in which I explained you about classes, make sure to watch that because classes are very important to you to know about structs. If you haven't liked, share, subscribe my channel yet, do it now and provide more content like this. So without any further ado, let's get started about learning structs in C#. First of all, you need to know the full form of struct. The struct's full form or the full form of struct is structure. Now you may see from the keyword struct that it may be a bit like some sort of data storage and adding in a few more variables or type of functions. So one thing that you need to take care is that you don't mess up with the class and structs. You don't mess up between these two because they are different. But there are only a few little things that make these two things differ from each other. A struct is defined by using a keyword struct. Okay, so immediately you see that the color of the calculator has changed to dull green type color. I don't like that, but it is to differentiate between those. And you see there's no just effect on this. You can even delete these. We should now see that it prints out the value of pi. Yes, it does. Then you may ask, what's the difference between a struct and a class? There are a few little points that you need to take care of. Struct is completely like a class, except there's no function in this struct, in any struct, that will be called by default by the compiler when it starts the application or the program or nothing like that. There will be no function that will be called by default by the compiler. Like you had the main function in a class, this function will be called whenever the program runs. So there's no function in struct that will be called, that will be like main function, and it will be called in here. But that's why you need classes. If you are using some sort of classes or structs, you're confused between what to do when we are just storing data and adding a little bit of functionality, but we don't want much functionality to be done. It's like you don't need much things, you just need some things. So here it is. And structs are just for your purpose, for adding a little bit of functionality. Structs are used with functions which will never be called by default. So you will at least need one class in the whole program that will manage all of the stuff for the structs. Struct is a value type, not a reference type. So it cannot be set to null. And multiple instances of this can be created. So there's a constant float, which is constant. We don't want it to change, and we can access them directly using these one thing you need to take care is structs are almost like classes, but don't mess with these two. I recommend that you note down some points between classes and structs in your notebook if you have, or a notepad. That first point. Structs are value types while classes are reference types. That means struct cannot be set to null while classes can be set to null. Second point, that structs are used when we're just storing data and adding just a little bit of functionality to these. And we don't want the compiler to call any function by default. While classes have certain functions like the main function, which will be called by default whenever the application, the program runs. These two are the main differences. Then there are several other differences. Then why are structs used for storing data instead of classes? Structs are really optimized ones. Let me just change the comment to this. Structs are really optimized ones. And these are only used when to store data and add in just a little bit of functionality. And while the classes are used when you want complete functionality over your project. And in the next video, I'll talk about inheritance. So, if you don't know what inheritance is, then make sure to watch that video. It will be uploaded on the next Sunday. And also I'll upload a video about constructors. One important thing, structs can also have constructors. Even classes can have constructors. But classes are a little bit more heavier than the structs. Structs are more lighter. So you're gonna use structs when you just want a little bit of functionality or no functionality. It's okay if you're creating a math library, then you can use a bunch of structs to manage these all things. For example, we did like this. Why am I telling to use structs instead of classing for the data optimization, just for a little bit functionality? Because classes are way more lighter, way more heavier than structs. If not, there are thousands of different structs and classes in your application or program or game, whatever you make. If you're really making a really heavy game, or a game like Call of Duty, Minecraft, then you need thousands of scripts, thousands of structs, and you're just basically gonna mess up with all of these. And it's generally recommended to use struct instead of classes, because they're mostly optimized. And also in games, when you need just a little bit of FPS to go further, like you're making a game and you need heavy amounts of optimization, and you have a bunch of different classes where you're just storing data, not adding a functionality to it. It's like that, and you still use it. I recommend, not only I, the community recommends to use structs. because they are lighter. And when you have thousands of structs, you can imagine it can save a lot of FPS. And also they are way more lighter, like that. And one thing you notice that structs are like these. They are like stored of files and some sort of the icon which I can't explain how it is. It's like cubes on top of each other files. Very weird icon. I don't know what it is, what it means actually. But these structs make up structure for our game or program, whatever you use. If you have ever used the Unity ECS, Unity Dots, then you may know that all the component data have structs in them because even if they contain functions, they're not gonna be called by default by the compiler. We need classes acting on them. And in Unity ECS, several components like translation, rotation, and even the custom component data are defined as structs. If you're using Unreal Engine, it uses C++. It may be a little bit different about that, but these generally remain the same. So you need to take care of these few things, and then you'll be able to make your successful game. Very optimized one. And just like classes, you need to have at least one struct or one class that has been named as program. You cannot have two different structs and classes defined by the same name, like class calculator, struct calculator. You can't have like that. So these are few points that you need to take care of while messing up with structs or experimenting with structs. I recommend you practice these daily, and then you'll understand what functionality do they add. For the next video is going to be about inheritance. So make sure you subscribe our channel, like, share, and comment on what topics do I make videos next, and even press the bell icon besides the subscribe button so that you get our notifications whenever we upload any of our videos. So I am AttiDude signing out.